there were articles written about you. Should Dapper laughs even be on TV? What does it say to you about the mainstream or legacy media idea of what TV is? Should he even be on TV? What is TV to these people? Some sort of gatekeeper thing?
Yeah, it's classism. I mean, I'm a firm believer that working class voices are considered dumb and uneducated, and that we don't have anything to offer. It's the same in theatre as well as it is in comedy, and especially in TV. There's very few working class comedians that have broke through and become huge. Do you know what I mean? And I believe that that's because they don't think that we are intelligent enough to be being ironic with our comedy. Whereas if I was to do a rape joke with my accent, that they're like, oh my god, he wants to. But when Jimmy Carr does a joke, they're like, well, he's highly educated. He's clearly being ironic.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen. That's clearly a character.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I believe that there's a lot of classism in it as well. But also, when I blew up, I think a problem was the power they didn't understand, or it was very new to them, the power of social media at the time.
Yeah.
And I was arguing with journalists, and I was arguing back with commissioners and TV channels.
Well, good on you.
Yeah. But ultimately it was to my own detriment. But before I got cancelled, you know, I had the BBC, and this is one of the reasons why I can't stand the BBC, and I truly could say that I hate them with a passion, just because of the way that they report, how biased they are, and the way that they treat people. And you know, when they're not holier than holy themselves as an organisation, and what they've tried to hide while outing people like myself for maybe pushing the line too far, the stuff that they've tried to protect in-house. Same with ITV and Philip Schofield and stuff like that. I really went in on them situations.
Yeah,
I really did, because I was like, how do these organisations and people have the nuts to pile on top of me and push me out, you know, to save their own skin, but will hide clear abuse in order to save their own skin as well. And I wanted to be vocal about that. And the BBC once, which really tipped me over the edge, which kind of set me against them, so to speak, or gave me the inspiration to jump on their mistakes and make content out of them when I could, was there was like some sports event where they had Tess Daly and Vernon Kay, I think, and they said Tess is laughing and Vernon is looking very dapper, thankfully there's no dapper laughs, just randomly. Yeah. In a description,
joke,
just randomly, right? Well, and my head's clear and I'm getting over, and then obviously it's trending on Twitter, and then all the comments are, why'd you mention him and da 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 da, and I had to read all that stuff, and thankfully no one's providing dapper laughs, was it? So I quoted it and was like, well, what's the BBC providing? You know,
yes,
I won't say it.
Sex crimes.
Yeah, what's the BBC providing? You know, and use the N word. That rhymes with nonsense.
Yeah, for Americans, that's just another word for the P word. It's not the N word.
Not the other N word. Jeez, I don't want to get cancelled again. But what's the BBC providing that? And that tweet went proper viral, mega viral, and that made me feel like, do you know what? People are a little bit, a little bit pissed off with legacy media, mainstream media, and in fact, just because of what you say doesn't have to go. I'm gonna say something back from now on, and from that moment forward, everyone that gave me shit online got it back.
You mentioned Philip Schofield, again, just for non-Brits. That's a TV show host who was found to have been doing things he shouldn't have been. I mean, no one knows the entire thing at the moment, but it was a child who at one time was underage, and we don't know what happened. But another one who's come in just said, he's what did he do? He pleaded guilty, is Hugh Edwards. Yeah. And again, for non-Brits, that is, I mean, the epitome. We're talking about class, and we're talking about how people are perceived. The epitome of sort of top of the BBC pile, the guy who announced the death of the Queen, he was chosen to do that, and many other, the most respectful person ever, pleaded guilty to having images of children and all of those things on his phone. I mean, it if anything, puts what you're saying into what's the you know what I'm saying. Yeah,
the reason that annoyed me the most about that, aside from having children myself and hearing that he had pictures of 7-year-old graphic pictures of 7-year-olds on his phone, or that he was paying young boys for pictures and stuff like that, which is obviously easy content and easy pickings for someone that's got grief with BBC, that's been taken abuse from BBC before. The thing that really annoyed me about that situation was the clear cover up by the BBC and still paying him and still
pay rise.
Yeah, still paying him and stuff like that. When I was and not just that, them knowing, do you know what I mean? And while I was going through everything I was going through, it was simply just because I pushed it too far with some of my videos. I was deemed misogynistic, and you know, some stuff was blown up and stuff like that. But I was ousted straight away, and I was asked to never return.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In any other walk of life, if you get fired from one job, you know, you learn from it, you move on, you get another job somewhere else. When you're cancelled from TV, they expect you to never return, never try comedy again, nothing like that. And this guy was under investigation on there, and they continued to pay him. And I just thought to myself, it would have been better for me if I was caught kiddling than making jokes.
Wow.
The response from the media and from the people out there probably would have been more lenient if I was caught texting underage kids or had pictures than actually telling jokes about it.
There's still your point there, isn't it, about the class issue? So you still 100%. you might have had it worse either way.
Yeah. But what's the world coming to when actual actions are deemed worse than jokes?
Do you think there's something about it? Is it? I'm trying to work out all the time. Is there something about the BBC or whatever TV channel that seems to encourage hiding these abuses? It's just happened so many times now. Or is it just, if you have enough numbers of people, unfortunately, there are wrong-uns in that number of people. So there are a lot of people on TV. Some of them are going to be wrong-uns. Is it something about the BBC, or is it there's just a lot of wrong-uns out there?
I just think, I don't know. I mean, you know, you start going down the route of conspiracy theories. I mean, you've got that statue outside the BBC of that weird statue. I don't know. You'll have to look it up. But there's a very weird statue outside of someone that was something to do with indecent things. So you'll have to Google that and have a little look and find out what that is.
Someone's written the again, that word I can't use on it, which is so stupid, but I can't. PDF, I call them PDF files. Sculptor and the image on the front of the BBC Broadcasting House.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of conspiracy theories around it, but I think it just comes down to deviants abusing their power. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, probably a higher percentage of people who get that high up in their careers might be psychopaths.
Yeah,
and because they would just stop at nothing to get what they want.
Yeah,
and then they get protected because people. I mean, most people don't care. We all act like they don't care. I think they don't care. They think, oh gosh, Hugh Edwards might have done this stuff, but they go, oh, but I do have a job because of his job, so they don't say anything. They don't want to lose their own job. They don't want to put their own neck on the line and say something. And over years and years and years, Savile, that was what was happening with Savile. Very few people wanted to speak up because they might lose their own job. And
that's showbiz, isn't it? You know, you feel so privileged to be involved in it, and it's so hard to get into that people don't want to do anything get up, and that's where I went wrong.
Does it wind you up though when you see that with Hugh Edwards?
It infuriates me.
Yeah,
it infuriates me. It infuriates me that there is such just, I don't know. It's just so for me. It just, my whole experience with the TV world was so different to what I see now, and how people are treated. I mean, even Philip Schofield. You know, when all of that was going on, I before he got fired, I put a tweet up where I was looking out the window because it was common knowledge for months and months and months what was going on Twitter and everywhere else. And I kept getting tagged in things. I kept getting railed up by it because it's like ITV let you go, but he's still there.
Yeah.
And I was getting railed up by it. And weirdly enough, I don't know if I played any part in it, but like 2 days before ITV put a statement out and he was fired or whatever, I put a picture of me looking out the window on a train sat here wondering how I lost my job on ITV, but Philip Schofield's still there. And it went like 5-6 million views, like going wild. And then it really sort of kicked off. And I just thought to myself, yeah, see, everyone's thinking it. Everyone's thinking what I'm thinking. How can you be on a TV show where people know that you've brought in someone that you knew since he was underage, and now something's going on? Not just that, coming out as gay to cover up something that's going to come out clearly, bad. You know, and then playing the mental health card and people having sympathy for him for mental health. Where was all of that stuff for me over a joke? I know it's not the same, but I was like, it was literally, everyone was like, get rid of him at any cost, get him off. Who cares what he's going through? And I look at it, and I just see the contradiction, and then you add children to the mix, and it angers me.
You also get a lot of people who defend these guys, and I think what a lot of people don't understand in the public who want to defend maybe a Philip Schofield or one of those people, because they don't always go to prison, right? And I know Hugh Edwards probably will. He's pleaded guilty. But Philip Schofield, I think it's just the police stopped investigating. And people don't realise there's a different burden of proof to put someone away. I mean, you need to be 100% about all the different things. Whereas in terms of, I mean, people call it a trial by media, people getting upset. But at the end of the day, there was enough there to say, well, some of this stuff that happened was not very good.
Well, there's pictures of him in the theatre school with the young lad when he's, I don't know, quote me on it, like 7, 10 or something like that. Yeah. And then the next thing, there's a relationship going on when he's of age.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was 11 or 12.
In any other culture, especially, that would be called.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and then getting him jobs at ITV, going along with him.